Okay. Yeah, I'm with you on a lot of that. As far as I don't think that these aliens are going to be, you know, the Wookiees or the warm and friendly type of beings that are going to help us.
And they don't give
No,
off orbs.
I do. Yeah, there's my opinion. The world according to Allan. There's, and this can be backed up with some investigations on my part, and some of the stuff that I've read that have been leaked on out from the Pentagon, be it Majestic 12 and other types of papers, on and on. Is there's different species on out there, and some of them are, as you say, see us as food or see us as an experiment to create a hybrid type of race. Others are just going to be watching, well, maybe one watching us. There may be one that's going to say, okay, boys, let's just see what happens here, but you cannot wipe them on out. In other words, they're going to watch the other different alien species play dice with us. Now, at one point, I used to think that, I used to think that the aliens came into contact with the Earth back in the late 1940s with the atomic bomb. But no, there's been at least a couple of species that have been here observing us since the time of the Assyrians, Babylonians, Romans, etc., Sumerians, etc. And now it's because perhaps of where we are with our technology, there are other ones that are now watching us, or as you would say there, or to go with your thought there, salivating at the time of thinking of what's for dinner, to serve mankind, to serve man, that Twilight Zone type of story here. So yeah, I'm with you on that. But as far as the Greys, no, the Greys, one of the strange things about the Greys there, Gary, is that as far as, and this goes back to Carla Turner, and she died a number of years ago, but she started bringing out all this information, and then all of a sudden she has cancer, and it works real fast, and she dies. And she was way, way ahead as far as her research goes, as far as alien abduction. But this is very curious, at least it is what I think is curious, is that the Greys, as emotionless as they were, some of them seem to be interested in the aspects of the human soul. In other words, are these soulless beings? Are these, what would you call them? Some type of dimensional type of creature that's inhabiting some type of body that doesn't have a soul, negative type of being, demonic? Or is it some type of, alienoid, not a humanoid, that's doing some type of work for its master, an ET? That's how come they don't have soul capability, and that's how come they're so interested in the human soul. And then other aliens, be it, for example, the insect type or reptilian type, that's a big negative. These things are not our friends. And I guess I should go into this, and then we'll get back to the Santa Fe UFO here. But you were talking about the 1950s, 1960s UFO movies, sci-fi, and those were not our friends. And now, with the way that the propaganda of media, they say, oh, they're nice, warm, and fuzzy type of creatures. And again, too, you got to think to yourself, what is this all doing to the human mind? Is this, as you say, turning us into rabbits, into cattle, that we don't know that we're going to be slaughtered?
Well, that's what I kind of think. They could actually be coming down here harvesting, humans for experimenting, for maybe breeding, and maybe for breeding to eat. I have no idea. You have to understand something, Allan, right? People go out and shoot deer. They go out and eat anything that's below us. And in fact, parts of this world yet, people are still eating other humans. So, I mean, to us or to them, we might not be any more than that hamburger you buy at McDonald's. I mean, if you really think about it. Because, I mean, from the intelligent level, we are nothing compared to them. Absolutely nothing.
In some areas, you're absolutely right about intelligence level as compared to what these aliens are. For example, the old saw, the line is, well, when it comes to the insect-type reptoids, is come to planet Earth. There's no bag limit, and
Oh,
you're
yeah.
able to hunt year-round. One of the things that was I always found fascinating about this is how scientists, certain black ops type operations, these people are, well, have very little humanity in them, and they're just like adolescent kids who will do an experiment and don't care about the after effects of their experiment. For example, the Philadelphia experiment. Now, the Philadelphia experiment, that was in 1943, and it was they put all these generators on this destroyer escort frigate there in the Philadelphia yard. And with these generators, what they were going to try to do is create a band of energy around the craft to turn it to be invisible, because at the time we were losing the Battle of the Atlantic to the U-boats. So with the crew, the skeleton crew that they had on there, the first time that they turned on all these generators and trying to put a bulge in the energy there, the craft did disappear. And when it came back after, 5 minutes, the crew was very disorientated, and there's different stories about where it had materialized, where it had come back. Here in this world, at another out in the ocean, came back. Now, the second time, when they even put more generators on it, well, this time the ship ended on up, disappearing for, 17 to 20 minutes, depending upon which chronometer you're going to go by there. And, of course, when the ship came on back, some of the crew was missing. Some of the crew had materialized into the bulkheads of the destroyer escort, and some of the crew just burst into flames. But the surviving crew, the ones that were sick but were able to give statements to the scientists there, said, no, we weren't gone for 15, 17, 20 minutes. We were gone for 3 months, and we materialized at a planet or in a dimension that was like being inside a light bulb, an old GE yellow-ish light bulb, and there was these insect praying mantis type of creatures that were intelligent, and they took a couple of our crew and they eviscerated them, killed them, did they eat them, who knows what. But all of that goes into the point of us opening a door that has not been closed, and with what's going on in Los Alamos or other secret bases here in the USA with Black Ops, who knows what doorways we have inadvertently opened to these type of, anti-human type of creatures from another dimension, another planet, another stargate's been opened up, who knows what. But you're right. Some of these creatures, dinner's here, let's eat, I'm hungry.
Yeah. Well, first they examine you and then interrogate you. Then they, for dessert, okay, here's a meal.
Yeah, well, maybe, and again, too, with other types of things about not interrogating, maybe some of them are just using our blood as for some type of hybrid, because that gets into cattle mutilation. Now, as far as the cattle mutilations that's happened here in the area, this usually happens during a UFO wave. And before or after, you have these cows that ranchers find that are dead in their pasture. And there's no sign of struggle around these cows. Whatever killed these cows killed them immediately. And there's no footprints, there's no tire tracks around these cows, and most of their blood has been drained, about 90%. Their sexual organs have been removed. And this is not a slaughterhouse type of butchery. There's not blood spread out all over the ground, over the grass. This is precision surgery. In other words, where the cut is cauterized, and the sexual organs are removed. There's a slit in the chest where the heart has been removed, sometimes the tongue, an eye. Uh, so why are they what are they doing with these cows? Bovine blood is the closest to human blood. It's closer than chimpanzee. So are they, well, creating a new herd of hybrid? Is that what this is all about? And that's how come you have the missing and you have the cattle mutilation phenomena?
Well, it's just
Now,
not
one
the
of the things...
it's not the cattle. You know, one of well, I got some photos. They were taken from Brazil and then from the Amazon, where they were people were gone missing. They found their bodies mutilated. The same thing. Their hearts removed, their tongues removed, their eyes removed. No sign of any struggle, no footprints around it. But there's the body. Not a bit of blood, no nothing. Done just as accurate or more accurate than it could be done in any hospital with laser technology, removing these glands and these organs. That is scary when you see a human like that. And I got a couple pictures on my computer that when I received them, and this person used to be with a government agency for a long time before he retired. When he sent them over to me, I tell you, I didn't sleep that night. I looked at that and I, opened it up and I wish I never did.
Right, yes. I've seen some of those photos, and the one that I think you're talking about is about the poor guy from Brazil, and part of his body is charred, part of it's yellow and black, and yeah, poor fellow. That's, yeah. And then again, too, you think to yourself about some of the missing. Is this what befell them after they were captured? And then some of the corpses of people that have been found in the wilds, they've been found at places that have already been searched, but they're decomposed to the point of where you cannot tell if classic mutilation happened to them as compared to that poor soul from Brazil who was, well, butchered.
Yeah, that's scary. No, actually, the picture I have has not been circulated around.
Okay.
And it's probably worse than the one you've seen. But,
Okay.
I will say this, too. I had a trucker, Alan, on my show back 4 months ago. He was a long hauler, at night, going through Texas and all that stuff, doing, long hauls. And he no longer does long hauls. He won't go out at night no more as a trucker. He does, short runs in the day because what he saw, as I don't remember, is when he was just about ready to go in the desert or just coming out of the desert. He was looking out at his driver cab window. And he saw a cow about 100 feet off the ground, head first, with a beam of light going up in the sky. And that's all it took. He said that was it. I mean, he said in all his years, at 20-some years of being a trucker, at night, he saw weird stuff, but never, there was no tornado. There was nothing going on. And here it is, a cow, going up and going up in the sky. Now, no ropes, he said. There's no ropes, no chains, no helicopter. He said he pulled his rig off the side of the road. He stuck his head out the window. It was totally quiet. So, egg beater's going to make noise. And, that would be kind of eerie. Is that maybe a cow? It's being abducted for mutilation and then going to be dropped back down when they're done with it?
Yeah. Well, as far as cows being dropped, there's been some of them here in northern New Mexico. But here's the take on that. Now, this is probably going to be completely different than what this trucker saw. I'm going to say that the cows that have been found, that have been, crashed through trees, that have crashed through a fence, and of course the fence is down, that is misdirection. In other words, you have secret government agencies who will get a cow, put it underneath a Huey, a Black Hawk, whatever, depending on what era you're at, and take it on up and then drop it and it's going to be dropped in an obvious area where somebody's going to find it. And this is part of the mystery